All right, Moses, join me on the desk now. Local area golfer is heading down south again, this time to try and reclaim his title as a long drive champion.
No kidding. His name is Jamie Sidlowski. He'll be in Vegas. I'm a little jealous. He's a lucky guy, avoiding the cold just in time. Now, the St. Paul residents' rise in the power golf game is nothing short of spectacular. From the junior ranks all the way to the big boys. Newcap's Fraser Snowden caught up with Sidlowski in St. Paul.
I would say motivation is at an all-time high. It's a neat feeling knowing that.
Having played for the Bonneville Pontiacs before winning 2 long drive championships, he says there were skills he could transfer over to the sport.
You know, for half of the year I was playing hockey and creating lag one way, and for any golfer that knows, creating lag is the only way we can create power. So when you take a slap shot, you create lag in that stick. Use the flex of the stick. It's the same as in golf, and going right-handed, I've had the ability to be strong on both sides of my body.
The 24-year-old does have some difficulties with practicing up this way in the cold compared to down south.
You know, the weather's not ideal for being a golfer where, you know, you're going to have 7 months where you're not going to play any golf. But again, with my travel schedule, it's not a real issue. Practice facilities are hard to find. You know, there's not a lot of places for me to practice, which, you know, here in St. Paul, you know, there's certain holes out here where I can hit balls if need be.
And as far as the golf simulator that he broke, he was surprised how many people saw it.
We thought it was pretty funny. They had released it as soon as I left. By the time I got home, which was about a day and a half later, it had like 3 million views on YouTube already. So, you know, they sent it out and people, it was in front of a lot of faces.
He adds, though, the speed he hits the ball plays a huge factor.
If you've seen the speeds that we compete at, I mean, the numbers that, you know, the golf ball's traveling 220 miles an hour and the club head's moving 150 miles an hour.
Sidlowski hopes to bag the $250,000 prize October 30th at the Remax Long Drive Finals in Las Vegas. Fraser Snowden, Newcap Sports.
All right, moving on to hockey. The goal lights at the Civic Center had to be changed on Sunday after the Bobcats lit the lamp 13 times in 2 games against the Grand Prairie Storm. As Matt Schumont reports, the Cats finished their second 10-game segment, collecting points in 7 straight contests.
After going 6-4 in their first 10 games to open the season, the Bobcats one-upped themselves, going 6-3-1 in their last 10, picking up at least a point in their last 7.
First 3 games of the segment we lost, so we sat down and we wanted to battle hard these last 7 games, and you know we got it done. It was hard, but it's nice. 7 games in a row, it's definitely nice.
We've talked about these 10-game segments, and we get down 0-3 the first 3 games of the 10-game segment, and with the goals we'd set, we had to get points in every game to complete it and get the goals they'd set, and they did. And I mean, that's character and just hard work and determination.
The Bobcats have seen scoring from virtually everyone in the lineup, most noticeably from Austin McDonald, who has tallied 6 points in his last 2 games.
He's really stepped his game up in relation to the physical part of it, finishing the checks, and I mean, our forecheck, we got lots of speed, and when you start adding the body to that and forcing defensemen to make bad plays, he's a front runner. He's a leader in that situation right now.
Just working hard and doing everything I can do, like system-wise, you know, executing and just working hard down low, and it seems to be paying off so far. So.
The Cats did get a scare as Tanner Dunkel and Bryce Woodward both missed the third period in Saturday's 6-3 win, exiting the game with upper body injuries. However, head coach Gary Van Herwe says he doesn't expect to be without 2 of his top-line players for long.
We're certainly not treating them as long-term injuries, and we'll get them back in the lineup. They're obviously 2 big pieces of the puzzle. There's no doubt about it on that top line, both of them, but we're anticipating they'll be back shortly.
Matt Schumont, Newcap Sports.
All right, thanks a lot, Matt. We'll keep sticking with hockey, of course, this time Junior B. The Lloydminster Bandits were back in action over the weekend after being docked 4 points in the standings for addressing an ineligible player, nullifying their undefeated season. Now, despite what their record says, the team is still unbeaten on the ice, scoring 5 unanswered, beating Vegreville 6-3. Mike McKay led the way with a goal and 2 assists. Anthony Renier added a goal and a helper as well. Next Bandits game is at home Friday night against Saddle Lake. Moving on, the Baker Hughes Bobcats were looking for consecutive wins over the weekend, taking on the MLAC Maple Leafs from Edmonton. Cale Clegg, Chasten Braid, and Otto Mitchell were the goal scorers as they hold on to edge the Leafs 3-2. The Bobcats sit 2 points back of first place in the Dodge Division. Their next game at home this Saturday against the SEAC Tigers. Meanwhile, in minor midget action, the Lloydminster Rohan Rage suffer their first loss of the season, falling to the CNHA Canucks 4-1. They're back in action against Leduc on Saturday. And another quick note before we leave you here. In midget female hockey, the PWM Steelers have won 6 straight now, defeating the Peace Country Storm 6-3. Now that's your first look at sports. Gerard is up next with weather. The Lakeland Rustlers volleyball teams came out of the weekend with 2 wins each against the Concordia Thunder. Now the Lady Rustlers have never lost a set up to Saturday to the Thunder ever. After an impressive win on Friday, the Rustlers did come out sluggish Saturday, leaving numerous chances to put the game away early, leading to Concordia taking the 3rd set. The ladies would win in 4. Rustlers happy with the win, but not the performance.
I think they turned it around and knew what to expect, and we took it for granted. Definitely a confidence booster, but we still have a lot of work to do, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
We got the win, which was real important for us with our schedule. Concordia is a team that we have to beat if we want to be there at the end. But in terms of our play, I think we definitely have to have a little bit more sense of urgency, regardless of who we're playing or what happened the previous night.
The men are pleased with back-to-back wins, including straight sets victories on Friday and Saturday. The win moves the Rustlers above 500 for the first time since 2011-12, when they did actually sweep the Thunder. Jeff Seekings led the way with 9 kills to go along with 4 aces. Team very pleased after the turnaround from last week's game against Nate.
Didn't want that taste in their mouths again from last week against Nate, so they trained real hard this past week. Gave Concordia everything they could handle, and it's great for the guys.
Everybody, including me, was quite tentative and nervous, and I think that after we got through that and had some practices and work with that, we were able to get rid of that and kind of play with a more calm, centered mentality, and I think that helped out a lot.
All right, to basketball, the Rustlers men and women were down in Lethbridge Saturday after opening up the season against St. Mary's with victories. Now the ladies settled for the weekend split as they lose a close one, 68-61. Brianna Carlion had a solid night, finishing with 14 points to go along with 3 boards. As for the men, Emmanuel Jones followed up his strong performance on his opening night with another strong showing, leading the Rustlers with 21 points and 5 rebounds. However, it wasn't enough. 97-91 Kodiak's the final. Both Rustler teams play their first home games of the season this Friday at Lakeland Gym.